To be fair, you're a YouTuber that leaks their projects with no background in brand management, product logistics, or manufacturing. What made you think you were even remotely qualified aside from I like toys and I want to spread info? So yeah, that's a fair point. And that's how I'm going to start this video here today, which might not be exactly how you expected it to be. It's going to be a little story time video here today, a video that I've wanted to make, not wanted to make, put off making for months. But I'll just kind of talk today. It's kind of a story time sort of thing. So today I'm going to talk about some things I was working on behind the scenes back last summer and kind of give some context on certain mindsets and certain things that I dealt with in 2023 and kind of what that has all led to today in terms of where I currently am kind of sitting and what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling and what I'm doing. So let's talk about it. So at the beginning of July of last year, I released the kind of sort of bombshell episode of Lightning Storm, episode 216, where I talked about the pause, the possible end, the freezing of whatever you want to call it, of the Lightning Collection. And that video had a huge response, way more than I ever was expecting, although I should have expected a big response for that. I mean, that was pretty big news. And at the time, it just happened to, be sort of coincidentally, and I don't want to use this as the primary blame of the entire situation or kind of my opinion on it, but I kind of just want to set the stage. I had just recently finally decided that for the betterment of my own mental health, to go on some anxiety and blood pressure medication, which I've been on since then and for the most part has been very good. But when I first started it around that time frame, I kind of not really side effects of it, but I definitely started feeling the changes a little bit. And it kind of resulted in sort of this mixture of not thinking straight, but also being kind of overconfident in a way that I felt really good. But then I kind of just went on a sort of self-destructive rampage. And that has sort of lingered and left me kind of feeling quite embarrassed with myself for the last 5 months or so. And that connects back into this whole thing very, very much so. After I uploaded that video, I think it was after it, or it might have been before it, or at least it was definitely around that time frame. There was a job opening at Hasbro for a brand manager of action brands. For both G.I. Joe and Power Rangers is what the person would be in charge of both of. And I was like, wow, this is perfect. This is something that I think would be really, really cool. I've been trying to find a job. I definitely am right now that isn't just YouTube, because while I make some money off of here, it's not enough to move out of this house or to live my own life. So I was trying to find some kind of job, and I saw that and I was like, wow, that's amazing. And there was another job that I applied for that I'm not going to talk about. It has nothing to do with this. And I heard that, possibly I could have gotten a call for that one or whatever. They ghosted me on that one, but we won't talk about that one. The Hasbro one, I applied for that because and I didn't just do it rashly. I didn't just do it as a joke. And I get the sentiment behind the tweets that I started this video out with, right? What makes me think that I'm remotely qualified? Well, according to the job listing, I was reasonably qualified. Didn't have all of the requirements, but I guess my rationale was I do have a good amount of these qualities, or I have some of these requirements, and I know everything about Power Rangers, or a lot of it, and I've been learning about G.I. Joe from collecting the Classified series. And I was kind of being in charge of running both brands, that sounds absolutely amazing. So, I sent the application over, and, I kind of bragged about it to, friends and family, and kind of was I was really excited about the prospect. And I knew it was a pipe dream. I was never expecting to be man, I'm going to be the next head of the Power Rangers brand. But I kind of thought that, maybe I would at least get, some sort of response or whatever it may be. And I was trying to just kind of sweeten the deal a little bit. So I also, like I said, I was in that state of overconfidence that I kind of just kept trying to think of well, how would, if I got a meeting with them, right? If I was given an audience to kind of give my ideas, what would I do? What would I say to fix the Lightning Collection? What would I say are its biggest flaws and how it could be saved, right? And I'm not going to name any names, but for those who I sent my ideas to and my presentation to kind of bounce off of, or to just kind of have other people look at it, Some people, some really close friends in the fandom, know about this entire situation, and looked at my ideas and gave me a lot of confidence, and also gave me a lot of good feedback, and were just really, really helpful in kind of, making me feel like I wasn't making a really stupid decision. I feel like I was, retroactively, but at the time I didn't. So eventually, I didn't get a no on this job. I didn't get a yes, obviously. I got a very unexpected response finally from Hasbro, and that was, and I'll show the email here, that was that not only did I, not that I didn't get the job, nobody got the job because the job didn't exist anymore. So, which is, I gotta tell you, not the outcome I was expecting. So, when I still see people being like, when is Power Rangers, or is the highest true? How long is it going to last? I won't believe it till they say something. I really don't know how much more evidence people need to kind of see that, yeah, the ship is kind of sailing this. The brand is shelved. I was living a fantasy, I guess, or to even entertain those ideas in my mind that I could even potentially possibly come in and try to help out. I regret. And since I brought so many people into this nonsense ordeal, I've felt for months like I wasted their time, or I made a huge fool of myself privately. At least I didn't make as big of a fool of myself publicly as I definitely could have. Not that I didn't do that too. But yeah, it's just been a fun time. And so I kind of just wanted to explain where my headspace was at. With that said, I never wanted to publish like what my ideas were to save the Lightning Collection, and so because I was like, well, maybe they'll want to read it someday. I sent off, the presentation to people that I thought could potentially get it to the brand's, hands. I was trying my best to pull some strings, to go through connections, to kind of try to just get, I just wanted to try to get, my ideas to the team, right? And I was like, even if they don't hire, anybody that even if they hire somebody that that is definitely more qualified than I am, because I was not the most qualified, or even kind of technically remotely qualified. But I was thinking, what if I somehow was able to just help them in a way that wasn't even a public thing? Like, what if I just kind of helped out and, gave feedback with an NDA signed and kind of just helped pull some strings in the background and nobody knew about it, right? Like, I was just trying to think of any kind of ways, because the toy line has meant so much to me, as I'm sure many of you know, and covering it for years, it kind of made it like my whole personality. And so reporting on the news of its demise, which I had only gotten pretty concrete proof of only a couple of weeks before I uploaded that Lightning Storm, it hit me really badly, because it had been right after I graduated, and was like, well, I don't have a job right away, like a real job, but at least I got this gig going. And then it kind of felt like, immediately that ship sunk, and I kind of was the one who sunk it, preemptively by dropping the news. Maybe I could have waited a little longer or something, right? It didn't change the fact that the news was coming, and it didn't change the fact that I didn't really plan for a plan B, and the channel suffers to this day for that. But I don't know. I felt like I wanted to talk about it, because if I talk about all of it, then maybe I can stop thinking about it. And maybe I can stop having it kind of eat me away. But anyway, I just wanted to share that and kind of be a little bit vulnerable and open about what's been going on behind the scenes. I'm sure if anybody has paid attention to my social medias and stuff like that, I've been going through a lot. Mentally and emotionally, and it doesn't just stem from this. There's other things that have been going on that I'm not going to talk about, because they're way too private. But I just wanted to kind of share my current position on the Lightning Collection. The Lightning Collection, even just kind of looking at it, it feels like a constant reminder of disappointment for me, and kind of a constant reminder of mistakes that I've made. Is kind of what I feel like when I look at it now. And so that's why I haven't bought the last couple of figures, and that's why I'm a little bit more bitter towards it than I used to be, and stuff like that. And I would love for it to come back, but it's one of those things where I feel like I'm just gonna get burned again, and it's stupid to say that about a toy line. I know this stuff is I'm taking this way more seriously than anybody ever needs to or should have. But the fact of the matter is that it means a lot to me. I wouldn't have had this community if it wasn't for the Lightning Collection. I wouldn't have had a lot of close friends if it wasn't for the Lightning Collection. I wouldn't have had a lot of really cool opportunities if it wasn't for the Lightning Collection. So it really does mean a lot to me, and it does mean more to me than just like a toy line. I mean, it literally is something that I feel so passionate about, and I'm just excited to talk about, that when it's kind of plucked away, you know, out of my control, and then there are means to kind of sort of try to have some sort of an impact, and they just go so spectacularly wrong, it devastates me. But that's gonna do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is an interesting one. I don't even know why I'm making it, but here we are, and that's gonna do it. So of course, until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at LiveRangerKey or at AnificPR, and I'll see you all later. To wrap up this video, I'd like to thank my $5 and above patrons: Jurassic Samurai, Maggot Alchemist, Robert Browning, Static Thunder, Brendan Overland, Maji Yellow, MCPC Studios, James Darty, Matthew Thorne, Josh Landry, Pyramidus, CBT Tesla, Cross SCV, Caboose Ed, Socket Monsters, Daniel Pika, Hella Geo, Thrasher, Jesus Prime, Louis Carnes, and Carlos Alfredo. You can support Toku Topics for as little as $1 a month on my Patreon, linked in the description below.